It's a new series. Cars that nobody cares. 1997 Ford Explorer. Low mile units, but upgraded. This is an LX or LXT or whatever they called it. It's got the tachometer. That wasn't standard. Even in the manuals, you didn't get that. But this is an auto slush box. So, I bought it. Yeah, whatever. Needs new motor. So a completely reasonable series of events. Can you tell me about the motor? I'm just wondering how blown up it is. Holes, it's making a noise or something. Spot on. And then I'm gonna buy it. And then a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. There's 5 other people that want this car. Am I still interested? Classic car sales technique. There's 5 people. Nobody's in line for this thing. I'm happy because I own a 1997 Ford Escort with a good title. Bonus right there. I'm out $400. I own it. The guy's $400 richer and doesn't have to deal with this piece of junk. You know how I feel about drunk? This has apparently been resprayed. It used to be felony red, but we need some air. 1997 Ford Escort with the not quite the Duratec, but how old are these tires? Made in the USA. That should tell you. USA Trail. I don't know what pressure we should be at, but not bulging should be it. Are we about there? A little bit more. It's hard to tell on the bulge. Might be. Oof. Well, maybe I shouldn't put too much pressure here. Now, to get it up on the ramps, she wouldn't start. I mean, I heard it crank, and it appears to crank fine. I didn't get any video of it, but when she fired off, it sounds like a rod knock. But I need to guess this. At least get this thing into the driveway. But a rod knock would be pretty atypical with these motors, with the little 1.9. And look, it's not a respray. They use Kills. I think they did. It's been in a front end collision. They crashed it? Yeah, you can see those don't match. Front end collision. And they got red fenders, red bumper cover, other fender, and that looks like Kills paint is what it looks like. Talking more on this thing, the least desirable. This is the car that nobody wants. It was sitting for months before I reply. I am $400 poorer. Shouldn't tell you the value on these things, but sounds terrible when she fires off. We're gonna ask some questions. Oil exists. And actually is dark, which is what you want to see. Some of these, if they're run out of oil and then ran until they develop a knock, and typically you'll see clear oil. The guy said he just wanted his money out of it. He said he had a new battery. He said it had a new alternator. Battery was dead when I got it. It has the split port induction 2000, which is an update to the old Ford 1.9 single overhead cam, water pump off of that timing belt. Somewhere down there, I assume. Ooh, do I have a new drive belt there? Well, look at that. And it really is split port induction. There's valves or Mechatronics that open or something to give you unequal length headers to get more performance. So this gives you, I think, 110, 112 horsepower. The old motor. This is a 2.0. That's why the 2000. Oh, 1997. You were a simpler time when 2000 was futuristic and stuff. 10? Of course it is. New valve cover gasket. Somebody's been in this motor, apparently. According to the guy, the mechanic said it might be a lifter or something. Nice Pioneer decks. This thing have the button that you need to push. Put her in park. Let's listen. Ooh, that is a rod knock. That can't be anything but a rod knock. Man. Unless it's these guys. No. That can't be anything but, oh man. I'm gonna close the hood, try again. I need to get it in the driveway. Maybe not, might be getting the kids to push. I mean, that sounds like a rod knock for sure, but the cranking? This is a vehicle you get for no other reason than you like them, but someone's been in here. Oof. Oh well, 10 millimeters, all Metrique. They're seeing the ways. Now, I want to look in here. Now, I was able to get some more fire out of her. She ran for a second, then she starts backfiring through the intake, which tells me that their time might be off. That might be a thing. Let's look under here and see what we see. I mean, that new valve cover gasket confirms that someone's been up in her guts here. Pull that off. You can see the clamp's been dislocated. They bothered to put a new valve cover gasket on her, though, which tells me that they thought this might be a runner here. Let's... the last one was loose because they busted her off, and Just left it there. But, I mean, why would you bother? Wow, look at this stout thing. Now, unlike most other 90s vehicles, Hondas included, even the reliable ones, these things are not really prone to head gasket failures. Sure, it happens. You got a cast iron block, aluminum head. That was the plague back then. But all these rockers appear to be toit. But do they turn? They do. Now, the battery's dead. Because EverStart. Now, these motors are sort of infamous for dropping valve seats. Everything's got its Achilles heel, you know? But I did see the valves move when I pulled her off. But we might be out of time. I'm just not hearing the compression. So, and it's cranking over fast and it doesn't have that lobity lumpity. So you heard it in the take there. So very possibly we skip time. And if we skip time, that happens. We'll see the condition of this belt. Possible that we did lose a valve seat and it's sitting down in there, and when it couldn't actually go up, I mean, there's going to be some damage on this head. But the good news, always good news, and there's always a silver lining, is that if I need a completely new head, they sell them at O'Reilly. They are available in stock right now. I'll be $360 poor. It's about the price of the car. It'll be a running car at that point. Yeah, it depends on how bad the bottom end's dinged up. The cover is off. Easy enough. The timing belt looks good. And the bolts, I mean, hack mechanics everywhere. I don't know who it was over there, but, ooh. And they rounded that off. I mean, worse things have happened. You would get that from the crank pulleys where you would turn. But man, oh man. The timing belt looks good. I still see marks on her there. I don't see an issue with that. So to get the cover for the timing belt off, you have to undo the motor mount, or at least the cover for the motor mount. Yeah, that's just a little ballast that goes right on top. Front, that is the thing you must undo. Huh, I don't know if that's even needed. We'll put it all back on. We will not be hacks ourselves. Look at that, new plug wires and everything. Valve seat, that clatter. Let's continue getting into this. Next up, spark plugs. And those do look like new wires. Give me the torque. Oh, hard to do these things one-handed, you know. Put it in the valve cover. That looks good. That is insanely wide, but looks good. I'm looking for physical damage here. Man, look at that. That's gotta be our guy. Number one. I think it's number one. From driver, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, might as well check number 4. I assume we're good, though. Oh, hey there, good looking. Yeah, buddy. I don't always film on front-facing cameras, but when I do, I make sure it's the most unflattering angle. All right, number 1. These haven't been changed in forever. Well, look at that gap. I mean, some new plugs will make this run good. So, let us discuss our options. Ooh, diamond. This was a young girl's car. Ha! Yeah, we're talking. Oh, and Bob Ross. Somebody else also a creator of taste and class. It looks like a valve seat. Valve seats are iron, aren't they? Oh, of course it has a broken visor. Been all dirty. You gotta remove the head to solve that problem. The right way. I think we need to pull it out. Let's go fishing. Get a little magnet in there, see if we can get these pieces out. Maybe a camera in there. I'm sure I got a boroscope somewhere. That's our plan. Look around in there, see if we can get the pieces out, and then we can get it all back together. We know we need a new head. We need a new head. But if we can get the pieces out, we can prevent further damage. We can replace the spark plugs. Those look terrible. You see that gap? Huge. I mean, she's going to burn a lot of oil. She's going to be running a little rough. We're essentially a 3-cylinder. 1 week. Number 1 will be weak. But will it run? Can you piece it together just to run enough? We're going to find that out first. New spark plugs. Actually, no, maybe I should just re-gap those. Camber them down. Spark plugs. Get the pieces out of the engine. That did sound rough. Ouch. Yeah, pieces out of the engine. We're going to see. And we'll see. Say this is a car that you get for no other reason than you like them. For a lot of vintage things. Like the Volvos over here. There is a value in parts. They are collectors. People really like them and want them. For a 1997 Ford Escort, there is no value in parts. These things are plentiful. They're all over the junkyards. There is nothing I could sell off of this to make my $400 back. I mean, yeah, it's got a new battery. Who cares about that? New battery, new alternator. I can't resell an alternator. We got an alternator test channel coming up. There's no recoupment of the cost, and I can't pretend that I'm doing this for any other reason than I apparently like Ford Escorts. And I apparently like making videos about Ford Escorts. We will make this thing run again, hopefully. Like the Volvo, those ECUs are worth something. Those ignition control modules especially, those things are like $300-400 a piece. You get a working one. Excellent. I have made money off of Volvos with those things. Junk Volvos and all these little smaller parts. I have sold the cross member from a Volvo 240 that somebody had a rollover. They wanted the cross member. And I cut it out and I mailed it and sold it to them and turned a small profit off of part one. Windows, latches, odd things. But for 97, it's not old enough to be cool. And even if it was, it's not. They're not that reliable, they're not that powerful, they're not that interesting, but utility. This is a vehicle for utility and nothing more. It's March. What is this? We're back at her, as you can see. Of course, I just noticed a big crack running straight up and down. It's probably a mute point, but look at that. Can you see that crack? Even from here? From here? From this angle? Maybe. One thing police love, it's picking on high schoolers. So it's been a long time. I'm no longer a high schooler, obviously. But commonly, you get pulled over and they're like, pulled you over because you got a crack in your windshield. Which was true. But you can't see that. What you can do is see a 1997 Ford Escort and assume there's a crack in the windshield. Back in my day, spark plugs were 50 cents a piece and available at every corner store. You gotta get into the zone, you know. So go over there and they're like, this thing, Ford specifies you need this special platinum super plug. These are the cheap ones, the G-Power platinum alloy spark plugs, at only 6 and some change a piece. Jeez, but they're like, it calls for this one for $8.90 a piece. I was like, what in the world? They're pulling one over on us here. Pulling the wool over our eyes, because I would almost guarantee this came from the factory with an auto. Oh wait, Autolite. I knew it. I mean, this is a 1.9 split port. Actually, it's a 2.0 2000. This is space age tech here. It's not. Is there an advantage? Is there an advantage? I don't think there is. Is there an advantage to the G-Power, Platinums, whatever, split points, whatever, compared to your cheapest Autolite that you can get? In fact, I'm so cheap, I was tempted to reuse these. You just got to pull that gap out. I'm not complaining about the spark plugs all day, but I'm also $3.99 poor. I do not want to. I mean, I could just get a boroscope. Looks like some valve seating to me. We'll just pop that right there. We'll dig around a little bit more, see if we can find. I mean, it looks like we stopped pretty far up. Nothing else. I mean, there's no, I don't know about that. That little piece is going to cause all that noise. Well, this is how they sound with zero compression. Checked her over and over. We got nothing new in there. I guess let's put something back together here. New spark plugs. I don't know. Now, I'm short a boroscope. Now, they are either $30 online for something I can get right into my phone, or to buy them from anywhere is like $200 here. Ridiculous. So I'm going to put this thing back together. See how she runs. But there's no way that this little guy right there was causing all that noise. That definitely sounded like rod knock. But I'm still going to toss her back together here. Do they come pre-gapped? I don't know. Does it matter? No. I could call them sparkulators, but you know, you got to make your own catchphrases and stuff. But they're in. Now I thought about getting the compressor out, blowing some air down in there, and just making sure we got everything out of there. But with all the cranking I did with it out, it should have just shot out anything that was in there. So maybe there was more than that I wasn't picking up on the magnet. That should have handled it. And click. You know how no compression sounds, because I just showed you. I have the wires on, so this is compression, but no spark. back together. Let's send her, see how bad she is. I know what you're thinking. Even if there's not a bottom end rod knock, and that piece was causing, there's no way. That was super loud. There was no way that was causing all that noise. Even if that's the case, I'm down a cylinder essentially. Part of the valve sleeve came off. It's there for a reason. I'm gonna have next to no compression on cylinder number 1. Absolutely does. This battery's dope. Let's give her the gas. But she's cranking over really slow, and this battery, as you can see, is huge. I can kind of forcibly make her fit here, but it's not ideal. 6 of 23, that's not even the battery that was in it, or it was dead. I put this one in, just lying around, not even a year old. For the duration of the cranking I did on that, is that acceptable? So this is the battery that came with the car, also dated 6 of 23, also an Everstart value, but right here, it's proper size. You can see quite a bit smaller. Turn you on here. This is what you get for value. We have this guy here, the tester here. You're gonna take this battery in. This one, I don't know, it might be just fine. I was not cranking on that thing for that long. It's a 490 cold cranking amps, or 610 regular cranking amps, above 31, all right. And that other one is 810, I think. So 2/3 more value, 60, 70%, not 100%, not double, proper sized. We'll put the proper size one in, do some cranking, see if we get any more cranking time. Not prorated. Your battery dies within 1 year, they give you a complete new battery. At face value is great. I mean, so often, I've had a number of dead batteries that have died for a number of reasons. I take them back, and they're like, you're 10 months into a 1 year thing, so we'll give you 2 months off the battery. What, you get $10? Great. Like, if you're doing that, the prorating thing, there's no skin in the game. I completely understand that I got 10 months of use out of a battery. Should I pay for that? Well, the consumer, the buck's got to fall somewhere. But when I say skin in the game, most batteries, you have it for almost a year. They're not going to do the free replacement. Most people aren't. They're going to take it to a shop. They're probably going to say, yeah, we don't sell these batteries. I can sell you a new one, though, whatever. Or take it to whomever. That's what would typically happen. Should pull it off right there. Standard Ford design. I am going to pull it off right there. So most people don't come back for their warranty, and then they do. And they say, you've used 90% of your battery. And yes, I'm getting 10 months or whatever of value out of the thing. Of course, hypothetical values and everything. But you made a shit battery that didn't last your warranty period, and then you get a prorate it? I mean, it happens so often where I get off topic here. But I'm going to take this in to the Walmart. They're going to test it. Never do that. You have yourself a spicy day. Also, open up your... see if I can prop this open somehow. Get it actually in. And yes, starting fluid. However, these Fords are weird. I've had some that I bought. Bought a Ford Escort for $100, 97. It was a sedan, not as cool as this one, wagon, you know, that I bought for $100. Wouldn't start. Cranked over, wouldn't start. Sprayed some starting fluid in it and still didn't want to send off right away. But then it did start, and then it ran until I sold it a year later. But get enough to make the battery. You're going to take it into the Walmart. They're going to put it on their tester for, what, 15, 20 seconds. And it's going to hold these values for 15 or 20 seconds. Notice how they do not have a capacity. Yeah, I don't see a capacity on there by amp hour rating. They don't have one of those because that value is very low. You can hear. He's trying. Come on, buddy. Rest and restore compression. And again, this is how you work these Fords. What is this, EEVIC 7 or whatever they got? And I'm flat out on the throttle. Less there. Almost kicked that one. Good cylinder's trying. She's really trying. I can smell the fuel back here. One last time for my own entertainment, I suppose. Come on, buddy. Flat out. Come on, buddy. Starter fluid one more time. We're getting stronger. This is the last time, and then we're going to reconsider. More starting fluid, just about drowned her. It's dripping on me. Joy. So close. Post 2, off, back on, off, back on. I think I need to reassess my life choices here. You heard that. I was able to con her into running for a second. This EverStart value actually performs all right. And that rattle sounds like she's on the bottom, not the top. How hard is it to drop the pan on one of these? I am inclined just to do a bearing slap on her. If that's what we got to do, I've done it before. We can do it again. How hard does it get to? I can see we have our exhaust manifold in the front. It's the Japanese way. Can't explain that. Goes around and underneath the motor, so that would need to come off. And well, the whole intake needs to come off anyway, so it's what's gotta happen. Onward. Always forward. See if we can drop the pan and show you what's underneath there. We're gonna have some bearing damage. I don't know. That is weird. That is weird. I haven't seen one of these spinner throw a bearing. I've had a number of them. They all fail for kind of similar reasons. New head. Yeah. I mean, they don't have enough power. That was the thing. Not make enough power to hurt itself. It's just a chill little motor here. But no. I mean, the oil looks good. There's oil starvation. You drop a valve seed, you drop a valve stem, not the stem, the seals around the stem. You start burning some oil. People don't check the oil, but I don't think that's the case here. Well, let's get into the bottom end. No, I don't have a lift. You probably also don't have a lift. I can't drive it up on the ramps, so I'm going to jack her up, get her on jack stands, or jack her up and get her up on ramps. I'm making my life a little bit easier here. Get as much of this dirt and debris as I can. Oh, I have no idea how accessible this oil pan and main bearings are, but look at that. My knees are not necessarily bad, and I'd like to keep it that way. Well, that battery's still good. Ooh, she came with some wipes. But we're jacking the thing up. We're gonna do this. Safety first, you know. Going over to the wood pile. They do sell wheel chocks. Ooh, that would probably be better. A couple of these. There should be multiple things keeping you safe. How silly and stupid would it be? A death by Ford Escort? Junk Ford Escort? And results something like this. So even with it on these ramps here, there is barely enough area to work. What? Chickens. All right. But looking at this, ouch. As far as pulling the pan goes, I see 10 millimeters. I see 1, 2, 3, 4. That part of the pan. All right, we got to determine where this pan ends. We likely will need to drop this exhaust. But if we're pulling the head off, that's going to come down anyway. I don't believe the pan ends there. Yeah, it's one piece. Whoa, but I think, good guy Ford, I think we're going to be able to drop this pan just by scooting it out here. So those are our main bolts there. So I think you got to take those two big ones off as well. Can do. Well, let's start with the oil and see what we see in here. Look at that cute little... Oh, that's not a tie rod. Everything is cute. I thought it was a tie rod. Tie rods are back there. Here asking the necessary questions. How much is this cat worth? Because that very well could be the future. Of course, you need a little lower motor mount. Oh well. I don't always drain oil, but when I do, I make sure it's on the windiest day. And I guess this also serves as instructions for an oil change on your 1997 Ford Escort split port induction 2000 SPI, whatever. Yeah, I say windy day because it's going to blow right in my face, isn't it? All right. You know, my previous opinion, my previous consensus. Uh-oh, see that wind coming up. I mean, look at that. That oil looks good. It is possible this was ran out of oil. I mean, look, even the drips are coming out clear. Let me move this pan up so it doesn't get in my... What do they think they're doing? Running from a 5-year-old. See my previous comment about the wind. I mean, this is possible, but just a little tedious. I guess it doesn't matter much anymore. I mean, darn it. Oh, man. This thing is bound to happen, though. So this sort of thing, not much to write home about. What we do have is a bunch of 10mm bolts. Let's see. Oh, one is sufficient. Yes, perfectly. It's 10. And then on the edge over here, I think those are 14s or 15s, but definitely Matrique. Reminder for myself, this is a time lapse. One. Now, there's always going to be nuance. There's always going to be some that are more difficult to get to than others. Why does it smell like burnt oil already? Oh, look at this. These are rough. That joke where somebody's reached around a thing and finagling a bolt and they're like, ladies, this is why you stayed a mechanic. But look at these hands. Nobody wants that. They sell a pedicure device that's like sandpaper that you rub along your feet and stuff. Dang, that is rough. So I just moisturize because I'm fine with them rough. Both hands here. I mean, left hand's a little bit better, but you can still see the grooves there. But I moisturized, and now I'm gonna put gloves on. And I know what you're thinking, and yes, I've had gloves this entire time. I could have avoided most of it. Too late, too little. I should have been doing this the entire time. I mean, oils isn't necessarily good for you. I don't know if you've read the bottle, but that, not just to California, I know that's the joke as well, but oil is not that great. My previous comment, I do have glasses for this sort of thing. Damn it. I mean, that sort of thing also is bound to happen. That and oil spills. Was that a little red? That'll be fine. Got the last three out back there. Nothing much to write home about other than getting it in your face and on the ground and everywhere. There's one here that's kind of difficult to get to, but with the right extensions. Now for the side support on this, this is a 15. Oh, well actually, wasn't too bad at all. Wow, good guy Ford. So much about this has just been pleasant in disassembly. Huh, this is totally unlike most Fords. Oh yeah, there's that finger motion that I was talking about earlier. But so far, not too bad. I really want to show you what these bearings look like before this day is over. So I've got a rush here. I mean, so far, so good. Now, oil-covered lens. This is the beauty filter. Complete oil pan removal nearly. Almost fully off with nothing but my 3/8" Cobalt set. The stubby set too. Not even the big extensive set. And yes, I do have this guy, but this is optional. And this actually isn't too expensive. It's the Ryobi unit. It has all of 30 pounds of torque or something. So not expensive, not bourgeois or something. I do this enough that it makes sense for me, but you can easily do this just like this. It will not fit in here, and that is fine. I mean, I could do a number of extensions to get around there, but they spared no expense on the threads. Heat shield, right here. This guy goes in front of the oil pan so it can't move that way, and we heat shield in there. There's two 10mm bolts right there. Well, so far, so good. Except this cat does in fact have to come off for the end of that. Now I look up here. Looking at the manifold up there, it's going to be hard to see, but looks like there's 1, 2, I would assume 3. Let's see how accessible we are from the top. And we were so close to that being super easy. It's just a natural design thing. And I thought it was a Japanese thing. Now, this supposedly is an American design and built motor, but is she a Mazda? I don't know. Well, the Mazda had a 2-liter that was... Or the 1.9, you get the double, you get more power out of it. You get like 150 horsepower instead of the 112 that this guy's got. Now when I say Japanese, it's a different design philosophy. This, first time I saw it was on a Japanese car. Maybe it's not really a Japanese thing. But the whole thing of the exhaust being in the front, I don't know if I didn't speak too soon about how easy this has been to work on. It's because we got 10s right there. I'm probably going to want to soak those. Drop those out of the way. Heat shield's got to come off for me to access those bolts. Let's see. Just no way. The bolt didn't break. This is a completely non-American experience, which is why I was casting questions to whether this is really an American design motor with American internals and American made, because of how nothing has broken so far. I'm thinking it might not be. There we go. And I could do it all with my little 3/8" set. There's 2 more. One right there where the ratchet is pointing. Another one kind of in the center there. One of them is bound to give me trouble. But if they break off, then it's off. Well, I should have known better than to use that language. She is busted. Stripped. So, options here. I mean, I can probably just grind it. almost, really close. Get the vice grips out, or, I mean, this is where we're at. I can get to those bolts right there. That might be the way. Yeah, let me see if I can just pull it back and get down in there. Look at that cute little exhaust manifold. 15? Just guessing. If all else fails, you can just rip it off. Without that, do we have a better angle on this to actually get this out? Because it probably would be nice to replace it. Maybe I could hammer a 9 on there. We'll get the vice grips on. But for now, whoa, 4 bolts on the cat. Oh, look at that. And they're 15s. Number 1 comes off easy. Let's get this one in the front. I may want to get... So, we did upgrade. We got our swivel, and we got our 1/2-inch drive. Pittsburgh, whatever. Front one's going to be a challenge. You may have to pull this radiator fan out. Yeah. So did fan out. We can confirm it works. There was another 10 down there. I mean, I was able to get to it with that, but not the easiest thing. Now let's get on here. There you can see our bolts. There we are. So, on one side. Come on. Oh yeah. You know, I do have an impact. Maybe I ought to use that sort of thing. I mean, an impact through several non-impact rated, or at least a non-impact rated extension. Ugh. You got to be smarter, not harder. There's a few threads down there. Now I'm kind of running out of daylight here. Alright, what else holds this cat in? Something. I mean, now we're getting into it here. Why am I deaf? Ah, there we are. Gasket. We'll leave that there to drip. Now, pull off the baffle. We got 12s there? Well, look at that. Moving on up. Now we're up to 12s. Well, maybe there's some American there. Because those bolts were 13s. 4. Let's look. There we go. That. Normal. Not bad. Happy. Number 4. Happy. So I can see number 1 and number 4. I'm going to turn this thing over by hand. Number 2 up in there. And then in there, number 3. So what size bolt we got here? How American are we? Let's find out. So going forward, it felt like I was getting up to a dead stop. Yeah, right there. Right there. That is a dead stop. That is not a compression stop. It is smooth and you pull right through it. Now, if I pull too hard on this, I'm going to loosen that bolt, which I do not want to do. So what the heck? Okay, something's awry. Let's go forward again. Well, while I'm down here, check these main bearings. No clickety clickety. These main bearings are good. So the heck? All right, let's look up. I mean, there you can see the pistons up there. All right. Now we're at the top. There we are again. There is something. There's a hard stop right there. Interesting. All right, let's go the other way. Here, we'll zoom me out a bit. Yeah, piston comes down. Oil drips out. At least it's dripping in the pan, which doesn't have the plug in it. It's dripping on the ground. That's fine with me. All right, so we get to the bottom. So, with 2 and 4 at the bottom, we got that hard crunk stop. Okay, let me see if I can go back anymore. That is where she stops. I can't lean on that. There's a cat. It's unbolted. There, I cannot pull through that. Go forward. There it is. That hard stop again. We need a boroscope in there, don't we? This way. There. I mean, the bottom end feels good, feels stout. These bearings feel good. No noise out of them at all. Let's check the number 1 and number 4 again. Well, gotta be in that cam. There's 1. She's solid. That's not it. Number 1. This head's gotta come off. Well, we already knew that. But bottom end looks healthy. Let me see if I can see up in the cylinders here. I mean, it's gonna be kind of hard to tell with what I got here. And I guarantee that if I should remove the timing belt, that she is going to turn over good, because it's not per revolution. It stops at the top. And number 1, I believe, is about top dead center there. And I can't move it any further. But I'm not even getting a full revolution out of it. I go this way. Hear the compression. Yeah, that's not all the way down. I'm not even getting a full revolution out of it before something goes awry. Interesting. Good bearings, but look at them big counter shafts. Jeez. Well, made a smooth motor, I suppose. And it does smell burnt. Taking the bottom end apart to find out that we need to take the top end apart. Man, I'm about out of light here. A beautiful sun setting over here. It's a beautiful day on Mount Ham. Get some footage and stuff together for you. Do some editing. I'm undecided if this is going to be a 1-part, 2-part, 3-part, a million-part series. Maybe this is an adequate stopping point. Head's got to come off. I mean, that's not too difficult. There we got bolts there. There can't be more than a bunch of bolts over there. But we're really getting into the guts of this thing. And this is more trouble than this vehicle is worth. Guaranteed. But that is why we're doing this. This is the series. Maybe this should be a series. This is cars that nobody cares about.